Welcome to the AI Applied podcast. I'm your host, Jaden Schaefer. Each week, I cover breaking AI news, tools, and interview experts giving you actionable tips on applying AI into your career, job, workflows, and life. Make sure that you go to aibox.ai, link in the show notes, to join the waitlist for our new AI platform. We're going to be launching an incredible platform that allows you to build anything you want with workflows in AI. So you're able to chain together ChatGPT and image generators and audio generators to make really powerful apps for your organization, or you can host them on our marketplace and actually generate royalties from them. So make sure to go to aibox.ai and join the waitlist. In addition, if you like the podcast, if you could do me a massive favor and please leave us a review on Apple or Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcast. This helps me be able to get better guests on here as they check the reviews to see how you guys are liking it. So if you could please do that, I would really appreciate it. Is ChatGPT making Microsoft the most relevant tech company of 2023? Today, Microsoft announced they will be integrating ChatGPT in what they call Azure OpenAI service. This is actually a pretty big deal because Microsoft Azure, if you don't know, it's like Amazon's AWS, it's like Google Cloud. It's essentially the cloud service that Microsoft offers to companies to run all of their servers, all of their cloud computing. And it's in the top three biggest. You have Microsoft, you have Google, and you have Amazon, who's number one. So having the ability for Microsoft to really directly integrate OpenAI into Azure, and it's interesting because the pricing is 0.002 cents per 1,000 credits, which, I mean, doesn't really matter that much, but it's the exact same price as OpenAI is offering. So essentially, your companies are going to be able to build applications on Microsoft Azure, have the exact same pricing as OpenAI, and it's going to be super seamless, super easy to integrate. And the way that Microsoft is currently setting it up, they said that corporations will be able to have their own flavor or their own tone of company voice, essentially, from this ChatGPT, this OpenAI that's getting built right into their thing. So this is actually something that I haven't even seen from OpenAI. So this is something I think is a really interesting trend we're seeing with this Microsoft OpenAI partnership. Essentially, it looks like OpenAI is allowing Microsoft to almost front run some of their biggest features, software, and tools, and letting them do custom things that even OpenAI isn't doing. In AKA, they're giving people an incentive to go directly to Microsoft and its platforms for some of these things. So, I mean, it's not really a surprise, right? Microsoft owns 50% of OpenAI, so obviously they're going to try to leverage it to the max to boost all of their own platforms. And, they gave $10 billion in the last round to OpenAI, and $1 billion before that. So they're obviously, they've paid up a lot of money. So it's not to say they don't, perhaps deserve, but it's really interesting to kind of see them flexing this muscle and really being able to integrate ChatGPT and OpenAI in a way that really puts their competitors at a big disadvantage, because now all of a sudden it's not people kind of looking at comparing apples to apples of, Google Cloud versus Microsoft Azure. Now it's all of a sudden, if you have any sort of AI service, which in today's day and age, virtually every software company is looking at integrating, it's Google doesn't have that really seamless, easy integration and the customization, and the only way you're going to get that is going straight onto Microsoft Azure. So I think this is super interesting. This is going to be a massive shift. This is going to be huge for Microsoft. I mean, it's pretty crazy to see all the different ways Microsoft is already integrating everything OpenAI into their services, right? They got GPT 3.5 with that. Apparently they're using OpenAI to help them with when they purchased GitHub, which is the big code database online, and they came out with GitHub Copilot, which essentially helps developers code faster it's like ChatGPT but for code. Apparently this is being run and using OpenAI's technology to help improve that. So that's very interesting. And I think that, a lot of people didn't realize that. They just thought it was an exclusively Microsoft thing, the GitHub Copilot tool. But back in 2017, when Microsoft put $1 billion in, I guess that was part of the deal. So they were able to help develop using that, which is very, very interesting. So I think, ChatGPT hasn't and OpenAI haven't expressly said exactly how many users they have, but we are starting to see this is going to be pretty massive when you have companies like Quizlet, Snapchat, Instacart. All of these massive companies are starting to, integrate chatbots, and OpenAI is the number one chatbot right now, and Google still isn't to market, and Amazon and Facebook still aren't to market in the way. So I think that everyone's going to start building on top of OpenAI, and if all these other players don't get their act together and start coming out with software and solution and tools, OpenAI is really going to dominate. And in addition, with OpenAI's most recent price drop, where they essentially made ChatGPT 90% cheaper than their last AI model, which was, worse. So they made a better product 90% cheaper. They are just going to steamroll anyone that tries to play in this space. That's my prediction. Google's going to have to try to play. Amazon, Facebook will probably see plays from them. Apple on their last earnings call talked quite excessively about how they're integrating AI into everything, but I feel like that's probably, to be honest, them just trying to stay on the hype and seem like they're relevant, because they're really not in any of this generative AI that we know of at the moment. They're more focused on hardware. They'll probably come with a VR headset or something like that. So they've probably been sidetracked. But this is going to be pretty interesting. People in enterprise, in particular, appear to have really embraced this AI. Everyone is integrating tools into it. And it's really interesting. There was a recent survey of professionals from companies, including like Bank of America, Amazon, and McKinsey. And nearly 30% of them, and this is a report done by Fishbowl, but nearly 30% of the professionals surveyed said that they've used ChatGPT to assist with their work, marketing, advertising, programming, consulting, accounting, and teaching. And so we're just going to see this proliferate deeper and deeper into these tech companies. It's obviously top of mind for most of them. They're all going to be integrating, and Microsoft's going to be making out like a bandit having such a direct integration on their Azure cloud platform. I think it's interesting. One thing I will note, there has been some pushback from employers, like Wells Fargo is among a few other firms that have said, they pretty much impose pretty strict usage limits on ChatGPT for their employees. And I think one of the big reasons is like a privacy concern. They don't want, Wells Fargo doesn't want their employees putting like confidential customer information into this chatbot. But recently, I think OpenAI has actually done something that is going to quell those fears. So OpenAI, when they announced their new API for ChatGPT, they said that all the data that is being run through will be deleted after 30 days. And most importantly, they said the data used in the new ChatGPT API, unlike previous versions, will not be used to continue to train the model. AKA, if Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase Bank decide to integrate ChatGPT into one of their platforms, people would be able to put personal, sensitive, private information there and not have to worry about, somehow that popping up in a chat with someone else because it got, ChatGPT was being trained off of it. That data essentially is going to be encrypted and set aside and segregated and not used in any way in the outputs. And I think that's really important. There's no way any of these big companies would be able to really fully integrate this technology without having an agreement like that reached. So this is going to be really big. Microsoft, as I said before, is going to be one of the biggest winners, I think, of the next 5 to 10 years because of the way they've set themselves up with OpenAI. And I think that it's going to be a massive, massive win for them to integrate so directly into their Microsoft Azure platform. If you are looking for an innovative and creative community of people using ChatGPT, you need to join our ChatGPT creators community. I'll drop a link in the description to this podcast. We'd love to see you there, where we share tips and tricks of what is working in ChatGPT. It's a lot easier than a podcast, as you can see screenshots, you can share and comment on things that are currently working. So if this sounds interesting to you, check out the link in the comment. We'd love to have you in the community. Thank you for tuning in to the AI Applied podcast. Make sure to rate this wherever you listen to your podcasts, and have a fantastic rest of your day.